Welcome to the Explainer. So if you have ADHD, you already know that managing money can feel, well, like trying to wrestle a monster, right? But here's the thing. It is not a personal failing. It's about neuroscience. In this Explainer, we're going to break down exactly why it's so tough and give you a practical, brain-friendly toolkit you can actually start using today.
Have you ever just stared at a pile of bills or a bank statement and felt this wave of paralysis or frustration, maybe even shame, wondering, why is this so hard for me when it seems easy for everyone else? If you've felt that, you are absolutely not alone. And more importantly, there's a very real reason for it.
Okay, this is the most crucial point, and if you take nothing else away from this, let it be this. The struggle to budget, to save, to just handle your finances when you have ADHD, it has nothing to do with the lack of willpower. You're not lazy. It is not a flaw in your character. It is all about the unique wiring of your brain.
All right, let's dive into that. Because to build strategies that actually work, we first have to understand what's really happening under the hood. What is the science behind this struggle?
So essentially, your brain's operating system just processes things differently. Those key chemicals, dopamine and norepinephrine, think of them as the gas pedal for motivation and the brakes for your impulses. Well, they're used less effectively. This isn't some minor software bug, it's a fundamental difference in the hardware.
Now this slide, it blows up one of the biggest myths about ADHD. People think it's a deficit of attention, but it's not. It's a problem with regulating your attention, and that's key. It explains that weird paradox where you can get completely lost in a video game for 10 hours straight, but the idea of opening mail for 10 minutes feels physically painful. Your attention isn't broken, it's just really hard to aim where you want it to go.
And this whole challenge with directing your focus leads us straight to the core problem for adults with ADHD, especially when it comes to something like budgeting. It's called executive functioning.
Think of your executive functions as the CEO of your brain. They're in charge of planning, organizing, getting started on stuff, and keeping your emotions in check. So when that CEO is impaired, you get these very specific and, let's be honest, frustrating outcomes. That impulse buy, it's not just you being frivolous, it's a direct symptom of a brain that struggles to hit the pause button.
And this quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of that powerful, invisible battle, doesn't it? The energy you spend fighting the task is often way greater than the energy it would take to just do it. It's not just about the numbers on a spreadsheet, it's about this whole complex web of negative self-talk and emotion that turns a simple chore into a giant emotional minefield.
So that's the why. Now let's get to the good part, the how. How do we start building solutions that actually work with our brain instead of constantly fighting against it? Well, the first step is to stop relying on willpower and start building external supports.
Think about it this way. You wouldn't tell someone who needs glasses to just see harder, right? Of course not. You give them a tool, the glasses, that helps them see. It's the exact same principle here. We're going to create physical tools and simple systems to do the heavy lifting that our brains find difficult, like remembering things, staying organized, and just getting started. Okay, when you're facing a mountain of financial paperwork, the feeling of overwhelm is what stops you in your tracks. So don't try to climb the whole mountain. Use this method. Literally imagine you are looking through a paper towel tube. All you have to deal with is that one tiny circle of chaos. Maybe it's just paying one bill, not all of them, just one. It makes starting actually feel possible.
An on-ramp is all about making it easier to start. You want to reduce the friction. For budgeting, this could be as simple as putting your banking app on the front page of your phone, or maybe you bookmark your budget spreadsheet right on your browser's toolbar. You're just making the first step ridiculously easy so you're more likely to do it.
This is the cardinal rule for ADHD organization. Out of sight is truly out of mind. Hiding bills in a drawer is just a recipe for late fees. So instead, get a clear file holder for your desk. Use a whiteboard in your kitchen to write down due dates. Make your financial reality visible so it's impossible to ignore.
So once you have some of these external systems in place, the next step is to start building new, repeatable habits. This is where we get into rewiring your brain for financial success, one tiny step at a time.
Trying to build a new financial habit by just remembering to do it is a losing game for an ADHD brain. Instead, you use something called habit stacking. You piggyback the new habit you want onto one you already do automatically. The old habit becomes the trigger for the new one, and suddenly you don't need willpower. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will open my banking app. See? Easy.
Now, let's get even more specific with this. It's a scientifically proven formula. First, pick an anchor, something you already do.
Second, make the new behavior so small it's almost laughable. And third, this is the most important part, you celebrate immediately. That little burst of positive feeling tells your brain, hey, that was good, let's do it again. That's how you actually wire the habit into your brain.
Here's exactly what that looks like in the real world. You see how small that is? It's not, I'm going to do my entire budget. It's just this. It takes 5 seconds. It seems so small it feels pointless, but that is precisely why it works. You can't fail. And by doing it over and over, you build the neural pathway that makes checking in on your finances a normal, automatic part of your day.
Okay, so we've talked about external systems and internal habits, but honestly, none of these tools will stick without the most critical piece of the puzzle, shifting your mindset away from shame and toward real, radical self-compassion.
You have to hear this. Shame is the enemy of functioning. It paralyzes you. You cannot shame yourself into better financial habits. It just doesn't work. Progress only begins when you can look at your struggles with some understanding and kindness, knowing that there are neurological reasons for them.
This is so crucial. You are not your diagnosis. You are not your messy desk. You are not your overdue bills. Your value as a human being is completely separate from your ability to do these specific tasks. Internalizing that is the first step toward real, lasting change.
And when we talk about self-care, it's not just about your mindset, it's about biology. Sleep is absolutely non-negotiable. For a lot of people with ADHD, the brain's internal clock is literally delayed. Your body doesn't start producing the sleep hormone melatonin until much later. So enforcing a consistent sleep schedule isn't just good advice. It is a primary tool for managing your brain the next day.
And this statistic, it really drives home how high the stakes are. A huge study found that people with ADHD were twice as likely to die prematurely, mostly from accidents. So this isn't just about being neat or having a perfect budget. Managing ADHD is about protecting your fundamental health, your safety, and your well-being.
So let's end with this thought. What if the journey isn't about trying to fix your brain and force a square peg into a round hole? Maybe it's about honoring the fact that you have a square peg brain and learning how to build a square peg life around it. A life with tools, systems, and self-compassion that allow you to not just cope, but to actually thrive.